Hi, so here I am talking to Bradley Kuhn, one of the board of directors of the Free Software Foundation. And he's here with me at GUADEC in The Hague, the Netherlands. So, hi Bradley, why is the Free Software Foundation here at GUADEC?
So we serve on the advisory board for GNOME, along with many other nonprofit and for-profit organizations. So I was here to represent FSF on the advisory board and to speak about the GNU General Public License version 3.
Ooh, the new GPL v3.
Not so new anymore, but
well,
new to some people.
Yeah. So how is GPL v3 adoption going?
Well, your colleague Chris Tabona just gave some numbers about what's being seen on Google Code. It seems like it's going well there. I think it's going well in other places. It's like anything. It's like any other upgrade. People don't like to upgrade right away, and I understand that completely. So I gave a talk here at GUADEC to explain to people why they want an upgrade. We closed a lot of bugs, if you want to speak in hacker terms, of making the license better and making sure that it does the right thing for software freedom.
So here I am, I'm a project on GPL v2. Give me the elevator pitch. You're trapped with me in an elevator, or at least here at GUADEC. Why should I upgrade to GPL v3?
Well, it has a friendlier termination provision, so when people violate the GPL, they can get back into compliance easier. It covers the issues of software patents in a much more detailed and complete way, and makes sure that your project is not threatened by software patents, which is one of the biggest threats to free software today. And also, I think it's useful to have something that deals with the issue of free software and GPL software on embedded devices, making sure that users, when they get an embedded device, can upgrade their software and improve it.
Great. What other threats are there, do you think, to free software?
I think one of the biggest threats and challenges we have right now is the issue of web services. We're at a point now where many of the applications available as software are actually running online, and you're a user of them through some sort of web interface or other network interface. And there's actually another license called the Affero GPL, which helps to address that challenge.
So is that a Free Software Foundation endorsed license? Is that something they came up with to address that?
Yes, indeed. We had a lot of debates during the GPL v3 process. There was some, the Affero GPL existed before that in AGPL version 1. It was basically a fork of GPL version 2. And we debated a lot whether the Affero clause should go into GPL v3. Ultimately, it was decided the community was new to it, generally speaking, so we made a separate license called the Affero GPL, and that has an extra clause that deals with the issue of web services. So if you're a user of an online web service and that service is AGPL, then you're a legitimate user. You have a right to get the source code even though it wasn't directly distributed to you. Just as a user, you have a right to download the source code and any modifications that were made by the person deploying that particular application.
So that's to allow users of a web service to basically download the source for the server side of the web service and have the freedom to set up their own equivalent service.
Because what happens online is the GPL, the traditional GPL, functions effectively like the BSD license, because the GPL traditionally is always based around distribution, propagation, conveyance. Well, if you're a user of a web service, you're actually never propagated, conveyed, nor distributed a binary. So the AGPL makes sure that just as a legitimate user, you get the same rights as if you had been distributed the software in the first place.
Bradley, you either sound like a lawyer or you've been hanging around with too many lawyers.
I hang around with lawyers a little bit more than I probably should, it's true. But I try to be on point and explain what the issues are. People are confused sometimes by licenses, and the goal is to really give clear information so people can make their own choices. Everybody should choose the license that works best for them, and they should think about the issues of software freedom and find the license that is most likely to defend the software freedom of their users.
So is there anything else you're up to while you're here, or anything else you're doing that viewers might be interested in?
So in addition to my position on the board of directors of the FSF, which is a purely volunteer position, I'm also involved with an organization called the Software Freedom Conservancy. I'm on the board of directors there and also the president of that organization. And that's a much sort of simpler thing that we do for projects. Projects that don't have a nonprofit home and want to be able to do things that nonprofits do, like collect donations, get a certain amount of liability protection for their developers, and basically anything you would use a nonprofit organization for, we provide that to projects without having them have to go through the sometimes arduous process of incorporating a nonprofit, creating a board of directors and having board of directors meetings and so forth, and filing all the paperwork with the tax authorities in whatever jurisdiction they're in. We do all that for the project so they can focus on hacking, and when they need to fund a developer to go to travel, they can collect that donation, we handle that donation and reimburse the developer. So that's basically taking care of the mundane aspects of nonprofit management for free software projects.
Sort of doing the expenses, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. I've always been the kind of guy who says, well, I'm going to try to get done for what nobody else wants to do. I'm a bit of a masochist sometimes, so I just say, hey, what's most needed, and if that's hard work, I'm willing to do it so the hackers can keep hacking.
So is the Conservancy only for US projects, or can international projects
International
apply?
projects can join. Currently, we only have the ability to take tax-deductible donations in the U.S. We're a 501c3 charity in the U.S., so when Europeans, for example, want to donate, they can donate into the U.S. charity, but they won't get a tax benefit in their own country. We're working on ways to expand, and we certainly accept any project. And obviously, many projects are asking particularly for a way to operate in Europe, and we're looking into ways to do that. It's rather complicated to have a multinational organization. Most multinational nonprofits have been around for decades, and they've built up this structure. But we're trying to slowly build that. We've been around for about 4 years, and hopefully we'll have an international aspect as well. But for the meantime, if projects are comfortable with the idea of just accepting donations for now in the U.S., tax-deductible-wise, and around the world not being tax-deductible, we can handle that. And we reimburse developers all over the world. We reimbursed Brazilian developers for traveling to things like the Google Summer of Code Mentor Summit and that sort of thing. So we're a very international organization in that regard because the free software community is very international.
Well, great. Thanks very much, Bradley. So,
I'm happy to talk to you about all the exciting stuff I'm trying to do for free software, at least.
And hope you enjoy the rest of GUADEC.
I
Thanks
certainly
a lot.
will.
Okay, bye.
Thanks.